All right, what's up, y'all? We're gonna go back to 1980. First time I ever got high. Okay, I was sitting on the edge of my parents' couch as a little kid, and I think they were probably smoking weed. They were doing something. I think the room was real smoky. They might even been blowing smoke on me. I had pretty good parents, but they were young back then, so they weren't totally responsible. So I was sitting on the edge of the couch, and there was this vase on the other side of the room, like a vase with like peacock feathers. Peacock feathers. My mom was always into arts and crafts and shit. So there was a vase with peacock feathers on the other side of the room, maybe like 20 some peacock feathers just sitting in a vase as a decoration, like flowers. And all of a sudden, they just start flying out of the vase all over the room. They just start flying everywhere. I started screaming, crying. It was a horrible experience. And that was my first experience with, I'm pretty sure, marijuana. And so that's what can happen if you smoke around your kids. I mean, as an adult, this has never happened, but as a 2-year-old kid, 2.5, however old I was, real young, first memories, I was high as fuck just off of being in a room with it. But I've been around weed, so it had to have been probably being blown on me, you know? And I wasn't aware of it. But that shit hit me real hard, and I was like, whoa. Fast forward to 1984. No, sorry. Fast forward to about 1982, 1983. My dad and all his friends are smoking weed, which is common social thing. And I come in the house, and I'm like, I want to smoke too. I really said this. And my dad would tell you this never happened, but it did. And I was like, I want to smoke too. So they start laughing and pass me the joint. And I'm like, cool. So I take the joint. And I breathe it in, but I don't know how to inhale. So I don't get high the first time I tried to at about the age of 4. So, like I said, my dad will tell you this did not happen, but it did. And I've talked to him about it, and he just won't acknowledge it. So, me might not remember, but this did happen. So, that was something, obviously, that had a pretty big impact on me. And the next thing that had a big impact on me, there's a few things. Next thing that had a big impact on me was he was on his way to work one morning, and he had a brown paper bag, and I was like, hey, what's in the bag? And he opened the bag, and there was like a blue steel 38 revolver snub. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but now I know what it was. And I don't remember if it was loaded or not, but I think there were some bullets in the bag. Most people I don't know why the fuck would you carry a gun in a brown paper bag. It really didn't even make sense. Now that I'm thinking about it, back then but now I wouldn't do that. But for whatever reason, my dad wasn't really a hard criminal though. He had an auto body shop, and he worked on boats and cars and restored a 37 Pontiac to a hot rod. So he was a talented dude when it came to shit like that, but he didn't really show me how to do things and teach me the right way. He just did them. And I just would observe shit, but wouldn't really be taught. So I have certain traits, but wasn't necessarily taught to be like this. Okay? Wasn't necessarily groomed to be anything. And that was probably the problem. He was like, yeah, we're going to build a go-kart. That was the thing. We're going to build a go-kart. We're going to build a go-kart. Never even started. No big deal. You know, my dad was cool, man. He still is, you know what I'm saying? No big deal. But if you're going to do certain shit with your kids, try to, man, follow through if you can. You know what I'm saying? But I needed to have a hard upbringing for the life that I lived. So I really can't even, that's something I've come to understand and accept, you know? But as far as like just shit that impacted me as a child, another thing that impacted me and made me kind of the way I am now is the first time I seen the movie Scarface. First time I seen the movie Scarface, it was around the first time I smoked weed. It's just probably sitting on the couch watching. My dad was probably watching it. I don't know if it just came on TV or what, but it was on TV. So I remember that I remember the end of the movie. That was one thing that stuck out, was the end of the movie stuck out. And what I always thought in my head is he just was too late. He just was like, didn't react quick enough. Because he had all the guns. He had all the guys. He had everything he needed to make it through that scenario. And they all just got wiped out. That shit shouldn't have happened the way it did. And I never understood how somebody could fuck up like that until later on in life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand. It was because he was so high on coke. He was so high on coke. He was so high on coke that he fucked his whole empire off and let all his guys get whacked and only got a few shots off at the end of the day. That shit had a huge impact on me for some reason. I always stuck out in my head, man. And that comes into play in a scenario, in a scenario that ended up being the reason that I went to prison for the first time. But I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah, you got to watch smoking weed around your kids and shit, you know what I'm saying? Just watch the shit that you, man, and that was back in fucking 1983. Now imagine the shit that's on TV now. That one fucking movie, which is an extreme gangster ass flick that was meant to leave impressions in the minds of kids my age. Now that I think about it, because of what was to come from the 80s to now, as far as what happens in the street. But I never even really thought about it. Like, that movie worked on people. It worked because there was a reality to it, and it worked. You know, so things that impacted me as a child: getting high at a young age, seeing a firearm at a young age. The firearm that I saw in the brown paper bag was extremely similar to the gun that I was shot with. If not even identical. I think I was shot with the 357. I guess I don't know what was in the bag. I'm just assuming it was a 38. I never looked at the bullet casings in the back of it. I never asked, you know, so it was just a snub revolver that appeared to be 38 caliber-ish. Same gun that I was shot with that left a bullet. It broke my, if you look at the x-ray, you'll see my femur bone is broken in half up by the socket where it goes into the hip. And now I have a titanium rod inside of my bone, and from my knee to my hip. And then I guess the bone, I think, healed around that or something. But the bullet's still inside me. The gun was a revolver, obviously, so it didn't drop a shell casing. So I really don't know what kind of gun I got shot with. But I know how it hit me, and I know how it felt, and I've seen that before from that caliber, and it did the exact same thing to somebody standing right next to me. So I'm pretty sure it was a 7, man, snub 7, that hit me, but it was almost identical to the gun, first gun I ever saw in my whole life, in person. So getting high at a young age, seeing a firearm at a young age, and seeing a gangster-ass crazy flick like Scarface, all the way to the end of the movie where everybody gets whacked and everything goes bad. 3 things that impacted me coming up as a child. I had really pretty decent parents, especially my mom. So don't think I had some old fucked up ass parents. You know what I'm saying? Now at the time, they were doing the wrong thing, you know? And it's hard to make a lot of these videos because you really have to stop and think about how much are you really going to say before you're just saying too much. Whether it's even past the statute of limitations, whether, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always got to weigh the odds of like, damn, like, how much do I really say and still keep it 100? There's a very thin line between that. And people get it fucked up and start telling felonious lies to y'all. I guess when they maybe come to these crossroads of like, damn, I can't tell this much. Or, you know, I can't tell this story. And I'll just make some shit up. I don't know what these clowns do. But, motherfuckers are tripping, man. Tripping, man. But yeah, you guys, I'm out here really just enjoying my little vacation, man. This whole Corona shit and then Minneapolis went all to shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm just glad I had the means to be able to just get up out of there for a minute, you know? And just be able to chill and be able to take a vacation. I never really took much of a vacation in my life, man, except for the jail. And that's fucked up because that's often like our vacation. That's what we know as a vacation, and that's sad as fuck. I've never been on no fucking plane or no shit. One time I went to Arizona, shit, I was on the run and couldn't even live life like a normal person, but I still attempted to, and realized that I wasn't as big of a problem as I thought I was. I had to see, like, go to a place where nobody knew me, be like, damn, am I that much of a problem? You know? And I didn't have no problems with nobody in Arizona, didn't argue with nobody, didn't have no issues. You know what I'm saying? And came back to Minnesota and was in handcuffs within 24 hours, man. That's how this place will do you, man. Like, you gonna see the police, they gonna be on your ass about something. They gonna be on your ass, and they gonna get that ID, or they gonna take your ass to jail for make some shit up They're going to figure you out one way or another. Do not come to Minnesota, you guys. That's what people don't understand. This is a whole nother video. Don't even fucking come to this fucking state, man. Don't.